I'm Joan Gardner, the last of the Acton selectmen. I have served as the Select Board's liaison to the town-appointed Dog Park Committee since its inception in August 2017. I'm looking forward to introducing the Acton Dog Park Committee's work to date and sharing with the viewers the importance of their vote to support a dog park at town meeting. Please come on Monday, June 21st at 6 p.m. to the junior high school to support the municipal capital budget and to vote no on the citizens' petition to exclude dog park funds and to reconsider the location of the dog park. I would like first to acknowledge the Acton Dog Park Committee, which has worked for over 3.5 years. The Dog Park Committee members are Chairman Tom Gillespie, members Mike Perry, Claire Siska, Fred Kinch, and Louisa Callahan. In addition, Kathy Fochman is heading Friends of the Acton Community Dog Park and has been active since the inception of the committee in her former role as Recreation Director. Recreation Commissioner Joe Wild has been another regular and active attendee to the meetings. The Dog Park Committee has not done this work alone. The process has been very collaborative and inclusive. The Dog Park Committee has worked with all town committees, Open Space, Commission on Disabilities, Recreation, Land Stewards, etc. from the beginning, and to involve them in the process and ask for guidance and support. The Dog Park Committee has closely worked with town government, John Mangiaretti, the town manager, Tom Tidman, Natural Resources Director, Matt Selby, Economic Development Director, and the Engineering Department has been extremely helpful in this process. The first directive from the Select Board was to determine if there was a desire for a dog park in Acton. As a result of surveys, outreach, and research, it was clear that Acton residents, dog owners, and residents without dogs supported a dog park. Once determined, the second charge from the Select Board was to determine a location. Based on criteria established for an ideal dog park, the Dog Park Committee visited, revisited, and explored over 14 different town-owned general municipal properties, and also looked at one state-owned property. Over the 3-year journey, it became clear there was not a perfect location that would work for everyone. Rather, there was one location that worked best for the town and the needs of the dog park. The Dog Park Committee recommended to the Select Board the site on Main Street at the intersections of Routes 2 and 27 next to the Kennedy Nursery, where the proposed Acton Housing Authority development will be built. The Select Board voted November 2020 to assign the Dog Park Committee with the land as part of the Stanton Foundation grant process. Here is a current picture of the property, 348 Main Street. Let's imagine we are here with Main Street overpass over Route 2 to our left, and Kennedy Landscaping is up the street on the right. If we were to walk across the street to the center of this field, then turn to look backwards toward Main Street, this is the 360-degree view as you turn north towards Kennedy Landscaping, west to the back of the property, and south toward Route 2, where Tom Tidman and Joe Will are pictured, and back east to Main Street. The 348 Main Street parcel is 1 acre of usable land and will contain the enclosed park. The adjacent 352 Main Street parcel is to the right of the crosswalk and will contain paths from the parking lot to the enclosed dog park. The Dog Park Committee proposes this property is the best fit economically, environmentally, aesthetically, and civically. Economic, appropriating matching funds in the current municipal capital budget will leverage a town contribution of $21,000 to receive over $225,000 in Stanton Foundation grants for the design and construction of an enclosed dog park. In addition, the Friends Group is actively fundraising to raise additional monies to support items not covered by the grant, and a portion of dog license fees will cover ongoing maintenance. It is also important to note that dog parks in the town actually increase property values. Environmentally and aesthetically, development of this proposed property will not involve any clearing of trees and will take an unused eyesore in Acton Center and create an attractive and aesthetically pleasing dog park with landscaping. The Friends of Acton Community Dog Park envisions maintaining the property organically, supporting a sustainable ecosystem by planting native trees and shrubs, and installing pollinator gardens. They are pursuing grants and other fundraising strategies to achieve their vision. This drawing shows all the components of the project. Enclosed small dog area in the back left, enclosed all dog area in the front left, with a double gate entry for secure transfer of dogs off leash into both enclosures. A parking area and paths to the gate are pictured, as well as a shelter on the edge of the hillside overlooking the dog park below. Handicap accessibility will be incorporated throughout. This is a draft conceptual drawing, and a professional design firm will use this as a starting point as they assess site conditions, factor in needs and wants, cost out the project, and create the engineered design plans. This will be conducted with community input. The pictures shown on this map of Kelly's Corner help you to envision the potential and the future of this location in the context of our town center. The dog park, located just north on Main Street from Route 2 and 27 interchange, is walkable from Kelly's Corner, from the main school campus via the Hosmer House Trail, and from the adjacent Acton Housing Authority's 362 Main Street proposed housing development. The fourth reason for a dog park is a civic responsibility for our town to support the creation of community spaces that encourage residents to be connected and have a sense of belonging. The dog park develops another community within our town to support members that are isolated and or disabled. Dog parks encourage and teach new dog owners how to raise their puppies. Dog parks create another opportunity for socialization and exercise with dogs and people. As a caring and inclusive community, Acton wants to provide all residents with a range of amenities to support their social, emotional, and physical health. The Acton residents who are dog owners, Amy Barber and Fred Kinch, share their perspectives on the value of a dog park at 348 Main Street.
Hi, my name is Amy Barber, and I'm a resident of Acton, and we live on Main Street, very close to the future or potential future of the dog park. My family and I are in favor of the dog park. I think it would be a wonderful addition to our community, so we can socialize with one another, have our dogs become more social in a contained space. I also think our community would really benefit just from something in addition, say the Narrow Park or the Arboretum. It's also a wonderful way for the elderly community to come and socialize in a safe environment that's easier than, say, walking their dog on a trail. So I'm for the dog park. I know some of my neighbors are not for the dog park. If we could come to some kind of agreement and meet each other's needs halfway, I believe that's the way to go here. So thanks again.
Well, let me tell you what, that might entail. Uh, our older dog, Dana, we got her when she was 6 months, but we were not given the opportunity to socialize her because there wasn't a dog park in Acton, and she was 2 years old by the time we found the one in Concord. But by having her go to there, she's become a lot more open with other people, and there are people there that I laughingly say get promoted to her A list that she welcomes and is happy to see. And she's gotten to the point where she'll greet strangers, somewhat reluctantly, but strangers. But I also have, we adopted a dog a week ago Wednesday. He's a year and a half. We know a little bit about his background, but we do not believe that he is adequately trained. It would be dangerous to the dog to have him go off leash in an unconfined area, a fully enclosed dog park. So taking him to Great Hill or to some other conservation trail would be a disaster. It wouldn't work at all. And so I have been taking him over to the Billerica Dog Park to burn off energy, to socialize with other dogs, because it's fully confined. And a trail and conservation lands don't do that. And we're happy to find there's 4 or 5 dogs there at pretty much any time we've been. When I walk the trails with our older dog, who is trained now and fully able to be off leash in a conservation area, uh, you know, we might meet 1 dog, maybe 2 dogs on a trail, but it's not like putting them into a dog park where there might be 5 to 10 dogs and they get together. Further, I've been going to the Concord Dog Park now for 8 years, and I have friends there that I meet. I find out about what their lives are. We socialize, we visit. Some of them I don't know their names because I know their dogs' names, but I don't know their names because they call their dogs. But they're friends of ours. And Dana, our older dog, recognizes the dog is comfortable with the other dogs because it's a group, it's a social gathering, and that's not something you get on a trail. So those are personal experiences. You mentioned my son in Houston. He has 3 whippets, as a matter of fact, and by the nature of the breed, they cannot be left off leash in an unconfined area because they have I don't remember what the right term is, but they seek out rabbits and small
prey
things and
instinct.
whatnot, and they
They have
just run
strong
wild.
prey instinct.
And my son had oldest son had a greyhound for a couple of years, a rescue that had been raced, and then they turn them loose, and he had adopted it. And the same thing for the greyhounds; they cannot be left alone. You couldn't walk them on a trail; it would be, the dog would take off and disappear.
We've discussed the economic, environmental, aesthetic, and civic justification for the dog park at 348 Main Street. I'd like to close with resources you can visit to get more information. Please take the time to research and learn more about the Dog Parks Committee response to the citizen petition by reviewing the committee's website FAQ, or Frequently Asked Questions page, the Dog Park Committee website, Facebook page, and the Dog Park Town Committee page on the town website contain more detail about the vision and the process for the dog park at 348 Main Street. Feel free to reach out to the committee with questions and thought. Voice your support in the coming days and attend town meeting to support the budget and the location of the dog park. Acton deserves a beautiful park gateway into our town that supports all. Again, thank you.
Hello, my name is Matthew Post. I live at 6 Isaac Davis Way, and I just want to clear the air on points made
regarding the process of communication with the Isaac Davis Way neighbors, the Dog Park Committee, and the Select Board, being the catalyst for our Warrant 19. We first heard the Dog Park Committee was re-looking at the Main Street location from the Acton Housing Authority. The Acton Housing Authority made recommendations to the Dog Park Committee multiple times to reach out to us, which they never did. We only heard about the Dog Park Committee meetings through the Acton Housing Authority. It was not until the Dog Park Committee was told where they were allowed to have the dog park by the town officials did they prepare a full rendering of the site, then reach out to us. All the other possible locations were discussed with town officials and the abutting neighbors before agreeing or disagreeing on those particular sites, which was a courtesy we were not extended. The Finance Committee had asked the Dog Park Committee chair during their meeting if the Acton Housing Authority was for or against the dog park, and he responded with, "It's complicated." Well, not really. The Acton Housing Authority voted unanimously not in favor of having a dog park as their neighbor. They have even gone as far as submitting a formal written letter to the Select Board stating, quote, "We, the Acton Housing Authority Board, recommend that the selectmen do not use that parcel, Main Street, as a dog park," end quote. This location is the most unsafe of all the locations that were considered. The traffic flow and activity around Route 2 intersection received a grade of F in the previous study done when the former property owner was planning to put a school at that location. The Dog Park Committee chair said they have tried to work with us. We talked with the Select Board before they had their final vote on the Main Street location. We were asked to provide our requests in an effort to make us more comfortable with the project, and we were met with condescending attitudes as to our concerns for safety, liability, and legalities for using the site. All of our meaningful requests, specifically A, bring 3 fully vetted sites to town meeting so we can all vote on the location, and B, we wanted the Select Board to fully commit to completing the pedestrian park, which would abut the dog park. We were totally ignored, along with the fact that the town's attorney wanted to rewrite the Isaac Davis Way agreement, which has been in place since 1930 and revised in 2011, where all the rights to Isaac Davis Way had been given up by the previous landowner. This document runs with the land. This leads us to believe that she is worried that we have a case to protect our private driveway. Based solely on her opinion, with no legal backup documentation, she has stated that our legal document has no bearing on the town's use of Isaac Davis Way. So I refer you to the RFI, Request for Interest, from October 3rd, 2018, which is the town's document. It states, quote, "Easements. The 1¼ acre 352 Main Street property is subject to the Isaac Davis Way right-of-way. The total area of this easement is 2,945 square feet. No permanent structures can be built on this easement area," end quote. The town has set the precedent for acknowledging the Isaac Davis Way agreement. Regardless, the project was voted forward 4-1 by the Select Board. The Dog Park Committee was told to move forward regardless of the Isaac Davis Way neighbors, including the Acton Housing Authority. Just to be clear, only one Select Board member has visited the Main Street location, and that member was the one vote against. None of the other members have cared to take the time. The Isaac Davis Way agreement, which we own title to, is registered in the Record of Deeds. Clearly states that the owner of the 2 parcels of property on either side of Isaac Davis Way has the right to cross over from one side to the other to maintain the parcels. This means the municipal employees of the town, not every resident. That would be called an abuse of the easement. The dog park parking lot will impede our access and use of our driveway. The Dog Park Committee has a little over 4,000 supporters. They are planning a 15-car parking lot off our driveway. That is 200 more users that the previous landowner was projecting, and the town thought that was a burden. When the lot is full, the additional cars will park on and block our access, as well as use the Acton Housing Authority lot and the public safety lot, which they would have to cross over Route 27 twice with their dogs to get to the park. A select board member who sits on the CPC committee commented in the March 23rd CPC minutes stating, "Taxpayers paid a premium for this parcel, and to not use it as a courtesy for a few neighbors is not appropriate," end quote. We are those taxpayers and neighbors. Shame on you as a select board member bullying us and not taking all taxpayers seriously. This is not a courtesy to us. This location makes no sense whatsoever. Acton spent $1.8 million for the parcels. The Acton Housing Authority is paying $1 million for their site, largely due to the fact that we, the Isaac Davis Way neighbors, have supported their project and granted the easement for their septic system. We now have an $800,000 piece of land to work with. As much as the dog park committee tells you they have $250,000 to work with, that only covers their construction costs from the metal fence in and possibly the parking lot. What about handicapped access, lights, sidewalks, landscaping, and that beautiful gazebo? I'm not convinced the Stanton Foundation realizes the parking lot is 200 yards away from the dog park. Their $250,000 has nothing to do with constructing the remainder of the park for residential use. That will come from the town. If you look at the Hosmer House, which the dog park committee mirrored their design after, you are now increasing the cost by roughly $400,000, not to mention all the additional costs to maintain and service both parks, which the dog park committee thinks can be managed with their $7,000 they have raised over the last 3 years. We are now potentially paying $1.2 million so Acton can have a chain link fenced-in dirt spot as the entrance to our beautiful town. The select board has a current opportunity to generate income on the dog park parcel, which would help to recoup the expense of buying the parcels as a temporary fix until they come up with a long-term remedy, and they voted not to explore it or any other income-generating opportunities. That tells me that the select board members' argument about paying a premium is not really a concern. Isaac Davis Way, the Acton Housing Authority, and the CPC are being totally ignored. And we as neighbors have been bullied throughout the entire process. We have asked for backup information on several items, including sound test data. The former dog park chair, Claire Siska, stated, "There is a sound barrier and the noise is insignificant. We have asked for the sound test results 6 times and still haven't gotten them. Smells like fish." I was home when the test was done. It sounded like a dog fight in my backyard. I went over to the property to ask what was going on and was met by Claire, who proceeded to tell me to, quote, "mind my own business and go away," end quote. More bullying, less working with neighbors. Our mindset is that we have been bullied, ignored, and put out to be the villains in this process. We are not against a dog park in Acton. The town leaders are looking to give away money to a project where there has not been an ounce of due diligence regarding safety, finance, or legality. The dog park committee has not provided any comparative studies as to the costs and feasibility to develop any of the 13 sites they looked at. Their decision was based solely on where they were told to put it, specifically stated by the dog park committee chair at their last meeting. Tom was asked how the location was picked, and he answered, quote, "We didn't pick this location. We were told to put it here," end quote. Not surprising, we have been told by the select board directly that they can override any decisions made at town meeting. If you impregnate the dog park committee, there is no turning back. It can't get unpregnant. We recommend that you cut the funding from the proposed budget for the dog park on Main Street and move the location to a more appropriate, user-friendly site. Thank you for your time.